In this video, I am demoing a brand new tool called Do Anything. I came across it on X and I had to try it out because this fits right within where I think the trends of AI is going in 2026. So the idea behind Do Anything is that it can literally run a business for you, or more specifically, take action for you out in the real world. Something really cool about Do Anything that I really liked when I signed up is you create an account and then you also set up your agent. So you set up your agent here, you create a name for your agent, and your agent gets an email and a phone number. And then you have an agent inbox where your agent can literally receive emails and send emails on your behalf. What this means is it can reach out to other people. It can create accounts on websites. So for example, I was creating a Beehive account here, and then the agent can read the email, get an email confirmation code, put it into the app. It has browser use, so it can actually browse the web for you and do tasks for you. And because it has browser access, it can log in to any platform that you need. So these are some pretty lofty claims. And in this video, I'm going to put it to the test. Now, I was playing around with it a little bit before. It's not 100% perfect. There are some areas where it can get a little bit tripped up, but I think that this is the direction that agents are going in. And I think it's worth testing out to see what's possible now. And I think it's going to give you some ideas of what you can accomplish right now with Do Anything or with these types of agents. If we think about other platforms that it's similar to, the closest one I would say is Manus, because Manus also has the ability to have browser use and take action on the internet. And it's also very agentic. So Manus can run on your behalf and do a lot of tasks for you. The thing that I think separates Do Anything, or what I think is really cool, and maybe other platforms are going to start copying it, is that the agent has its own email and phone number to take actions. They also have something called skills. So this is similar to Claude Code, the way Claude has skills. So you can give it custom instructions and then it'll decide when to use those skills. So you could say, use my email writing skill to write this email, and it can, you can tell it your specific tone, the way that you like to write emails, things like that. You can create folders, which I think is pretty cool for different projects. And then the other thing that's cool about Do Anything is that it'll automatically, basically recursively think through what to do next. So it'll kind of always be working towards your end goal. Okay, so they have some examples here, and we're going to do a test of a few different use cases in this video. Planning my dream trip to Japan, starting and running a business for me, finding an apartment, planning and running my entire wedding. Okay, so those are some ideas that it has here on the homepage. But I also want to play around with some other ideas. So the first thing I'm going to do is this idea I saw on X that I think it was the founder of Do Anything was saying that one of the use cases that they use it for is saying, hey, find me someone in a specific industry and I want to set up a meeting with them, for example. So what I want to do here is see if Do Anything will reach out to me and set up a meeting basically with me, because I don't want to reach out to someone else right now, but I want to test out the functionality. So let me write out the prompt. So I sent off a prompt. I want to email Seth Kramer from No Code MBA. That's me. And I'd love to ask if he would come on my podcast called Tech Insider. I'm available next week in the afternoon Pacific time. So on the right side, we can see the to-dos. It's actually interesting. This is a little bit similar to Claude's new Cowork. I created a video on that as well, so you can check that out on our channel. So their Cowork workspace for Claude Code. So I think this is where a lot of things are converging. So if you're watching this video, you're already ahead of the trend of where things are going. And hopefully it's going to give you some ideas of how you can use these types of tools and where AI is going. So we can see it found my contact info. It created a to-do list, research Seth Kramer, find Seth Kramer's contact info, draft and send the podcast invitation email. So before I was even able to explain everything that Do Anything is capable of and what it's doing, it sent me an email. So I've sent the invitation to Seth Kramer at seth@nocode.mba. So let's read the email real quick. So guest invitation, Tech Insider podcast. Hi, Seth. I hope you're having a great week. I'm reaching out to you regarding an invitation to join the Tech Insider podcast. We've been following your work at No Code MBA and the impact you're making. I'm checking on your availability for next week. We're wide open in the afternoon Pacific time. Looking forward to hearing from you, best Noah Smith. And that's the agent. And then if I go to the agent inbox, we can go to sent, and we can see that went to that went to my email. And let me check my actual email right now. And let's see. Yep, I got an email. I'm on my phone. So I got an email from Noah Smith. It's just noahsmith@doanything.com. So it actually worked. So let me reply and let's see what happens. I'm going to reply from my phone and say, "Hi, Noah. Sounds great. Booked that week. How about the next?" So I'll send that back. So I'm curious what the AI is going to do, because if we go back to the agent, this project, or like what we were working on, should basically be, I'm curious if it's going to be monitoring. So yes, okay, it sees that we received an email back in this thread. It says email received. "Hi, Noah, sounds great. Booked this week. How about the next?" So I wonder what it's going to do. Is it going to like think about it? Is it going to ask me as the human in the loop, like if that works? And then again, if we go back to the agent inbox, we can see in the inbox that email came in here. It's under starred. I might have to refresh to actually see it under the inbox. I'm not sure why it's not showing up under the inbox by default. It came up under promotions for some reason. That's interesting. But it is in the inbox and the agent received it. So it doesn't actually really matter where it comes in. You're probably not going to be looking at the inbox too often. So I'm going to come back to this task in a second. I want to give it a little time. I think it's on like a timer, maybe every 5 minutes, to review what's happening. I'm really curious to see if it's going to contact me as the human in the loop to see like what happens. So in the meantime, let's go back and do a new project, and we can come back to that in a few minutes to see how that's going. And then that also might be something where we need to like update the plan to say, hey, like if we get a response, update the schedule, update it in a CRM. There's a lot of things that we could potentially add to that agent. Okay, so back on the homepage, a couple of things I want to note is there's plan mode, which is cool. I'm going to try that on this task. This is something that's becoming really common with these AI tools, is the ability to plan, review the plan before actually executing. Looks like they have something like max mode, which I assume will just use, more expensive models and use up more credits. So why don't we try this task? I think this is interesting, and we can at least, play around with it. I don't think we're going to have time to go all the way through the process in this video, but I think this is going to give you an idea of like how you might be able to use this to create and run a whole business that actually makes money. So if we go to the task I clicked on, help me write and publish a book, create an outline, help me write each chapter, edit the content, design a cover, format for publishing, and publish it on Amazon. So literally going from the idea all the way to writing and literally publishing a book. And because we had plan mode on, let's see if we can actually review it. So it says I've completed a comprehensive plan in a Markdown file. Markdown is basically just like a text file. It is Markdown file. It's not a text file, but Markdown is just like a really simple file that the AI is very good at reading, and it's just kind of built for AI. So created a plan, phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, from outlining to publishing. I'm going to say I'm good with that, but it does need the topic or at least a rough idea to brainstorm. So why don't we say topic is AI trends in 2026. And in the meantime, while this is working, as you can see, it's going to update the progress. If we go here, it looks like we did receive a reply, but I guess there's nothing built in that was telling it to kind of go back and forth and schedule a time. So why don't we give it a little bit more instruction? So why don't we say respond and try to find a time that works for everyone. So I'm giving it more instructions. Let's see if I get a response in my email inbox. And then I'm going to try to, again, coordinate a time that doesn't work and see if it'll then respond back automatically. That's really what I want to see, if the agent will kind of go back and forth or how much it'll do on its own. All right, so we're back here in the assistance in writing. This is something I want to show you as well that I noticed about Do Anything, is there's something called self-reflect. So that's what I mentioned, how it's going to kind of recursively work. It finalized the outline for the book. So we could review the outline at this MD file. And then it's also going to self-reflect in 10 seconds, or I can click start chapter 1, or I want to edit the outline. So I'm curious to see, let's just let it self-reflect. The agent is self-reflecting. And let's see what it does here and like what that really means. And then after that, we could potentially just say start chapter 1. I'm curious if it's going to start chapter 1 on its own, just with the self-reflection or not. So it seemed like this chat was getting stuck. So I just sent the message again. I guess there's just still some bugs. We are in the alpha of this app. And what it did was it's trying to configure Google Calendar to actually coordinate a slot specifically. But what I'm going to say, instead of connecting, I'm just going to say just send general afternoons instead of connecting to Google Calendar. That also is kind of cool that it was smart enough to know, okay, they might not want to do Google Calendar. Okay, so it replied to Seth letting him know the following week works perfectly. I've suggested any afternoon between 1 and 5 p.m. PT. Okay, so and now it's going to keep an eye out for his response to finalize the time. So why don't I check my email again? I should have gotten a response. And while I'm waiting for that response, I just went back to check on the book that's being written. And it looks like what happened was the agent did self-reflect and just decided, you know what, I'm going to write chapter 1 as outlined in the plan because that's what makes the most sense. So it already wrote chapter 1. I can take a look at it. Super basic. So we'd probably want to give more instructions, maybe even use max mode to write something longer or give it more details about like how long we want the book to be. But yeah, I mean, or we could get this outline and say, hey, expand on it more. So this is where, the human in the loop is still going to be helpful. But it wrote chapter 1. If you're happy with the tone and content, I can move to chapter 2, or we can make some edits. So why don't I say I have some edits? So I could say, hey, expand on this and make it, twice the length, for example. What would you like to adjust? I'll say make it longer, 2x the length. Okay. And then hopefully the agent would know moving forward as it's writing to increase the length. But what's cool as well is I think I could just leave it. It'll just keep self-reflecting and write the whole book. It'll get to the Amazon KDP and I think even create an account on Amazon to upload the book. All right, so I found one more bug. It looks like, I'm checking under sent. I also didn't get an email back. It says it sent it, but if I look in the inbox, it looks like it did not send it. So unless I go to promotions, let's see. Yeah, I did not get an email. So I'm going to go back and say, make sure you send the email. And I think this might just be a bug because it says email sent here. So I'm not sure exactly what happened. It says it sent the email, but then if I go to it, I don't see that in the inbox. So I'm not sure what happened. Maybe that's just a bug since we're in the alpha. Definitely some room for improvement still, even though I think that there's a lot of potential here for what it's doing and what's happening. So let's check out the draft. It says it expanded it to double the length. So why don't I check out that draft? And yeah, so definitely longer. And of course, if we were really doing this, I could spend more time reading, maybe give it more examples, more context, things like that. If you like this video, click the link in the description to subscribe to our AI and Vibe Coding daily newsletter. I read it every morning at 8 a.m. to stay updated with everything happening in the AI and Vibe coding world. Things are changing so quickly, and it's helpful to have a newsletter that keeps you up to date. So subscribe for free. Click the link in the description. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments what you think and maybe what you would like to see improved about Do Anything. And subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content.